Alright, today I'm gonna show y'all how I do my card dance on Adobe After Effects. You know what? The coolest thing about this effect is that it's a stock plugin, so you don't even have to download anything. Bang! Look at that. Yo, I sound like a bot, bro. Alright, when you first pull up card dance, there's a bunch of settings that show up, so I'll try my best to explain what most of the functions do so y'all can mess around with them later. Okay, the first setting is the rows and columns. Pretty straightforward. It's basically showing the dimensions of how the cards are basically going to split up. And then you can choose if you want it to be independent or columns follow rows. So columns follow rows, basically 31 rows, 31 columns. But if you want it to be independent, you can change however you want the rows and columns to be. Yeah, I can't really say anything else. Okay, next is the layers. The gradient layers is where the card dance will actually take effect on. And then for the back layer, that's just the layer that will show up behind the cards when they take an effect. But if the gradient layer is the same as the back layer, it's not gonna really do anything different. Alright, now you have your XYZ positions. These don't take in an effect unless you have a source chosen and a gradient layer chosen. So for example, I will choose the layer right here and then change this to intensity. This is what I usually use. You can see that the cards or the image will kind of change. Since this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. Okay, your rotations are basically the same thing, except I would recommend to have the rows and columns a lower number. So if I were to do 5 and 5, it will make the cards bigger, and then you'll be able to actually see the effect more. You just mess around with this or whatever. I don't touch this at all, but I think there's probably other tutorials that use the effect in this kind of way. Okay, your X and Y scale, they basically stretch out the cards. So for X scale, this would stretch. Wait, hold on. Let me put this on. This would stretch out horizontally. And then for Y scale, this would stretch out vertically. Okay, and then finally, if your camera position, it's pretty much like the 3D that is used on the actual comp, except this camera is specifically for the effect. So, yeah, pretty neat. Okay, now I'm gonna show y'all how I do my card dance effects. Let me just zoom in the preview. Alright, we're gonna start with the rows and columns. I like to have them even, so I turn on the columns follow rows. And then for the rows, I would put probably around between 200 to possibly 400. But not actually, nah. I'll just say 200. Alright, next we're gonna go to the Z position and then change the source to intensity. As you can see, it's already basically taking effect here. Let me put it in quarters so it can pre-render faster. You could easily see that it's taking effect because the multiplier is at 1. What I do is I change this to 0. I set a keyframe in the beginning, and then I put another keyframe at the end to however far you want it to multiply. So you can see that the cards are kind of already taking the place. All right, then if you pull it down here, you can see the keyframes. Just hit F9, open up the graph, and then you just make a quick little ease out. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's an ease out graph. I might be stupid, but yeah, it's already kind of going. This is really easy. You basically done it already. Just start clapping, bro. Honestly, you just start clapping. If you want to go a bit more depth into the effect compared to how I did it to the Monogatari edit and the ReZero edit, pretty much what I did was I think... Wait, hold on. I'm stupid as well. The multiplier was decently high to maybe... I don't really know what number. There's not really like a specific number that I choose. So I'll just put this. And then you go into the camera position and then just kind of mess around with the camera. I zoomed out the Z position like this. So hold on. If I put one keyframe and start putting the keyframe at the end. Zoom it out. Let's see. Bang, bang. You did the little F9 on the keyframes. Put a little graph. There, that's the... That's yeah. 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 You can also mess around with like the rotation of the car dance. So you can see how you can see all the particles kind of just breaking apart. So you can do rotations, this and that. Positions. I can do an X rotation. Kind of going up like this. And then, no, the same thing. Bang, bang. So you got kind of have a little effect like this. And then if I end this out just a little bit more, and just maybe move the keyframes. This is gonna be really long. Move the keyframes. You can really just have the camera go through the through like the image itself. So aside from just this and that, you can do a little zoom in. Do a little zoom in. Add some like low position stuff or whatever. You can't use the value graph for this, so I'll just do this. Do a little speed graph. Dude, what in the world what am I doing? I'll graph like this. Low rotation, low rotation. Yeah, low rotation right here. This looks so bad. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. This looks, I don't know what I'm doing. This looks terrible, but you kind of get the gist of it. Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I hope y'all at least understood where I was going with this tutorial. If this did help you, I'm glad. Like, let me know if you like this tutorial though. If y'all did, then I'd love to make more. This was fun to make, and I hope to see some really cool edits from y'all learning this effect. Thanks, guys.